Hey, welcome back to Papa's Custom Cars. Hey, I'm going to review a tool here. I've dealt with this company before on the little battery tester. This time they sent me a unit that can do you guys a lot of good, so stay tuned and let's take a look at what they sent me this time. So I was saying Vdiagtool, hopefully I'm saying that right, but it's Vdiagtool, and I did the review on this little battery tester, and it turned out to be pretty good. And this is a handy little unit because it's portable, lightweight, and works really well. Well, this time they upped their game, and they sent me this. It is an their VD70 automotive diagnostic tool. Now, all you old guys like me, where we learned about mechanics the old school way, we build engines, we can adjust carburetors and timing and all that kind of fun stuff. Saw the new cars coming and said, oh my gosh, when you open the hood, look at this nightmare kind of thing. Well, I've learned how to use a diagnostic tool, and I can tell you that in the first instance where I used that tool, my old tool cost about $300, I think, $299, something of that nature. The first time I used it was on the 300, and it was throwing a code, and me being who I am, I have no idea what that code means. So, I had the little handheld, but the little handhelds, they'll give you a code, but they really don't give you anything else but a code, and it's real basic. A diagnostic tool of this caliber, or even the one that I've got one caliber below this, will identify the issue for you, and if you push a couple of buttons, tell you what you need to do to fix it. So my suggestion to everyone is buy one of these, do way kind of things, but the guy in the garage like me only needs one of these. This particular one is $3.99. I am going to put a 10% code on my page. They always are real good about giving me a code so that I can pass the savings on to you guys. But I guarantee you, the first time you use one of these, identify the issue and fix it, you're going to save pretty much what it's going to cost you. Normally, you send a car to the dealership. As an example, the first time I used my tool, my new screen, it told me that injector number 6 in the Chrysler was bad or dirty or something of that nature. That repair, sending it to the dealership, is a few hours, and at $150, $100 to $150 an hour, you're looking at a $400 bill plus the price of the parts, which we know is heavily inflated. And those of us that have worked on cars before and aren't afraid to do them, these things can save you a ton of dough. In the first 1 or even 2 repairs, you're going to pay for this by doing it yourself. For an example, the Chrysler, I ordered the fuel injectors. They were relatively inexpensive. It's a V6, so I only needed 6 of them. Put the new ones in. Car has run beautiful ever since. The old ones I threw into my Sonic cleaner, and they're clean and in a box, and they're ready for the next time it needs an injector. I can just pull those out and go back and forth. These diagnostic tools can do much, much more than that. If you look back, there's an old 300 code on my tracks where it was throwing misfires all over the place, and I was able to read with one of these real time and see that the misfire was all over the place. This cylinder would misfire, then this one would misfire, then this one over here would misfire. To take it to the dealership to have them plug one of these in, it's $150 just to diagnose it. And you can do it with one of these if you have it yourself. It ended up being a leaky valve cover gasket. That valve cover gasket probably cost $10, maybe $20. It was whatever it was. But just using a tool like this, I was able to save myself that money. The coil pack cost me $65, and the new spark plugs, The dealership wanted to charge me $600 to do a new coil pack and plugs and the whole 9 yards, whereas I was able to do it myself. I paid $65 for the coil pack and, you know, a couple bucks. The plugs were a little bit more expensive, maybe $4 to $6 a piece, but that alone saved me hundreds. And these things, for us old guys, don't be afraid of them. These are really, really cool. So we're going to take some time and I'm going to go through this one with you. I really like this one. This one is more advanced than my other one. I do have one now and it is really, really good and I like it a lot, but this thing has so many more features. So let's go ahead and unbox it and let's take a look at some of the features that it has so I can kind of show you guys what is really cool about these new automotive diagnostic tools. And those of you that do know how to use them, this is one you can afford to buy. It is $399 on Amazon right now. Yes, it's made in China. But for the guy, you know, the guy that uses it in his own home shop, this is what you need. This particular one is bi-directional, meaning it can talk back and forth. One of the things that you can do with a bi-directional is, like, I can sit in the car and I can fire off different things. So, like, say I want to test a fuel injector, I can test a fuel injector. If I want to test an EGR valve, I can test an EGR valve. There's a bunch of stuff that you can actually do from the panel that you would normally have to take it to the dealership and have them check it. Like, I had an EGR leak in one of the cars. I think it was a Trax, as a matter of fact, and I was able to actually activate that valve to make sure that it worked while I was using one of these using one of these diagnostic tools. So they are really, really good to have for your home shop. Yes, $400 is expensive, but you've got to remember that whatever you save on that new car you own, this will definitely make up for it, and you won't spend the money at the dealership, you know, 1 or 2 repairs, and this thing is paid for forever. This particular one comes with 3 years of updates. And basically what it is as time goes by, just like my other one, things change and they update the software. Well, every time I plug mine in, I get an update for whatever types of vehicles there are. My last update on the other one was to 2024. You know, years go by and new cars come out. Well, when new cars come out, you can update your diagnostic tool to match that year. So when 2025 comes out, this particular unit has 3 years of updates. So I can update this for 2025, 2026, 2027. So I've got 3 years of time to use on this. If you got a friend who's got a car who's got an issue, charge them $50 to diagnose it. This thing, you know, these things can do that. So these are really good tools to have nowadays, even for an old school guy like me. I was afraid when I opened my first electronic, you know, you look at these engines now and it's like, there's a big plastic cover, you lift that off and it ain't nothing but hoses and plugs. This is what makes those hoses and plugs make sense. Old mechanics, throw it at my older brother Jerry, Lonnie, back in our day, you know, we all worked on our cars in the driveway. Like I said, we adjusted a carburetor here. We might have swapped an engine. We might have done this or that. Well, nowadays, we look at those engines and we can't figure out what the heck is going on. And this answers that question for you. So let's go ahead and unbox this. And I'll show you. I've already charged it up so that is at a full charge. It came in at about 80%, so it was ready to use right out of the box. And I'll show you how to use it. And we'll go from there. So let's get this thing unboxed so I can show you how cool this thing is. Okay, so right out of the box, comes in a really nice, well-packed box. And this is one of the other cool features about it is it's got its own case. Yeah, they all come with their own case, but you know, it's one of those added things that you really like when you're dealing with one of these. This is the model VD70 automotive diagnostic tool. It's right out in the front, Vdiagtools. And for service and support, you can call their phone number. I have yet to need service and support, but Let's go ahead and open her up. Inside, you're going to have a few different things. Let's move this out of the way real quick. You're going to have a few different things here. First is going to be your unit, which is right here. You've got your user guide, operator's guide. You've got your plugins, different plugins for different types of voltage, because these are, you can use these in whatever country you're in. You've got your OBD plug-in with this cable. Now, the nice thing about this one versus my old one is my old one has an adapter that goes from one type of plug to this type of plug. So this is nice that it's all in one. You've got your charge cable, and then, of course, you've got your unit. So let's get that unit out. Oh, yeah, and mine doesn't have these straps to hold it in, so every time I open it, things fall. So, one of the nice added touches this brand has versus mine. And judging from what I've seen, this one is way more advanced than my current one. So it comes in this little plastic pouch. So let's go ahead and take it out of the wrapper. So you'll notice it's got a few things on it that others don't have. Up here at the top, you've got your plug-in for your OBD cable, your power button, and then this looks like a charge port. Right there is your charge port. On the back, camera, and you've got a little stand for it, so you can stand it up if you need to. So let's go ahead and let's fire it up and let's take a look at it. So you just push your power button to turn it on. Now it also has a little screen protector, and she comes up. So we'll give it just a minute. Got their little logo on there along with their website. Like I said, I've worked with these folks with their little battery charger, and that thing's really nice. So as she comes up, it takes a little bit for it to boot up, just like any computer. This does run, I believe, on Android. So it'll run 36 types of services. It works on all systems diagnostics. It's bi-directional. Like I said, it can talk back and forth. It can code ECUs. Comes with a really good hardware. It has a broad range of vehicle coverage. You got 24/7 tech support with it. You've got OBD2 and then now the eOBD. So it works on both those. CAN, FD, and DOIP are covered, and it resets and rearms systems. So as you can see, there's already one update available. So all you have to do is connect this to your Wi-Fi at your home or your shop, whichever it might be. This one's already piped in. As you can see, it's already connected in green. Really easy to set up. So I just tap on updates, and it pops up and said there's an update for diagnostics on a Subaru. So all you do is you hit your update all. There might be 1, there might be 20. It just depends on what's happening, and it's going to download that update. So we'll wait for a few minutes for that to update, and then we'll come right back to it. A couple of minutes, and boom, it's all up to date. So you just go back to your main screen. Then you've got your automatic scan, your manual diagnostics, your settings, which are going to be, how you're going to set up on your Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. Remote control, your service center, and more, which is more of the update type of stuff. And then you can actually send the report out. But, you've got your auto scan. It's going to scan right now. It's not hooked to a car, so it's going to just give me an error. But we'll take it over and plug it into a car here in just a minute. And we'll go ahead and scan that car, and I'll show you how this thing works. Especially for your old school guys, you're going to really love this feature. So let's give it a few minutes, and I'll be right back with you when we're inside a car. So as you can see, without it hooked to a car, it's automatically come back. VIN code is not recognized. Please input it manually. What it's saying is it didn't communicate with the car. So if it can't read the VIN, which it'll do automatically, you'll see in a minute, it'll tell you to put the VIN in all by yourself. And when you put that VIN in, it'll actually recognize the type of vehicle that it is, all of its features and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's go ahead and move to the car now, and we'll see you in just a bit.
I don't mind the dinging for a minute. I just need to hook up the OBD2.
So this truck has been known to have a few issues here and there. We just replaced all the brakes. I should say my son just replaced all its brakes. It has all new tires, and we're getting ready to sell it, so we want to make sure everything's copacetic. He wasn't going to replace the brakes, but I said, you know what, let's replace the brakes so that the next person doesn't ever have to worry about it. And we put slotted and drilled rotors and ceramic pads on it, so they'll probably never have to do a brake job the rest of its life. So let's see if we can zoom you in so you can see this. Okay, so on this screen, all you have to do is turn the key on, nothing more. And then you hit this little button right here. It's auto scan, so it's reading the car. And folks, this is what's really neat. It knows it's a Ford. It wants to know, is it in Europe or America? So, America. So it's talking to the car. It's established communication. And with this feature, it automatically will scan the entire vehicle without, and we're talking, it'll scan everything. So it wants to know, is it an Explorer or a Mountaineer? So we know it's an Explorer. Advanced track, roll stability control, or IBV, and it'll be, whatever it might be. This particular one doesn't have the advanced track. It just is regular old four-wheel drive. I do believe it has stability control, but let's just tell it no to be safe. So it gives you the VIN number, what it is, when it was made, what motor's in it, and everything. So it's saying it's a 2002.5 manufacturer year, and it's a 4-liter. So let's tell it okay. Yep, it's right. So we want a bunch of different things that we can do. We can do service, we can do whole vehicle dynamic detection, system selection, auto scan, trouble code description, or vehicle information. So we've already seen the vehicle information. We kind of already know what it is. So let's go ahead and do an auto scan. So tap auto scan, and it's going to run through everything in the car. And I'll probably fast forward you through a lot of this because it does take some issues. And it's saying there's a powertrain control module or transmission issue. But it's going through and checking the 4x4. It's checking the security module. And the security module is giving a code because I opened opened up the car with the key and not the fob, so I set off the alarm. Driver's seat module. It's going to scan 10 total items altogether. So we know our anti-lock brake's good. We know our restraint control module is good. We know our 4x4 control module is good. We have a fault in our security module. It's scanning the different features, like right now it's scanning the automatic temperature controlled system in the car. And it has one more thing. Now it's going to the next step, which is the parking aid module. And there are things it's going to scan that it's not going to know. So here we go. We've got everything scanned now. So it's saying the security module. So all you have to do is look at, you can either just hit the diagnostic button and it'll read the trouble code. And as I said, it is testing the security system in the car right now. So it's request blah. It's telling me some other stuff, so we don't really care about it. We want to know. We want to go back one more to our main. We want to know what that powertrain control module issue is. So let's read the ECU and see what it says. See, it's coming across powertrain control module of transmission, function menu. So let's take a minute and let's read the trouble code. So there's you can retrieve the continuous memory one, key on, engine off, on-demand self-test, key on, engine running. So you can run different types of tests. So we're going to read the ECU information. Saying powertrain control module, standard configuration, okay. Go back to reading it. Let's retrieve what it's got there. So it's talking to the ECU now, and it'll give us that trouble code here in a minute. And I'll bet you $10 it's a gas pack. Blah, blah, blah. So these codes that we're reading, we've got random misfire detected, cylinder 2 misfire detected, cylinder 6 misfire, misfire detected on startup, and onboard diagnostic systems readiness test not complete. This was all before he went through and we changed all the plugs and put a whole new coil pack on it. So these are all stored codes. When we were done doing that, I told him don't clear them because I wanted to test this and show everybody that these are the codes that are coming up. So with this system, since I know what it is, we can go ahead and play with it. So let's get a report for it. So we can hit report. In this report, in the menu, you can put in your shop's name. It'll automatically note the vehicle information. It'll tell you the different codes and the problems. And if you want to put in any notes, you can, and then you can save it or just exit out of this screen. But you could print this out for your customer or your friend or whatever it might be so that you've got this information for them. So let's exit out of this. Let's go back because I know this has already been fixed. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go in there and we're going to clear all the trouble codes. So we go to clear DTC, tell it yes. Will be lost. Yes, I want to continue because I already know what they were. It was already doing it, so I'm not concerned about it. And now the codes have been successfully erased. So let's go back one more. And let's go back into the security module, diagnostic, and we're going to clear those too. Yes, we're going to clear it all. Okay, codes have been erased. So now we can go back to our main screen. We're going to go ahead and, like I said, you can run a report on this screen too, which makes it kind of cool. So you just go here, go report, and it's going to give every single code and every single thing that it was. Because the security one's nothing real big, it's only going to give you, systems readiness test not complete. It's because I didn't unlock this car with the key. So we can go ahead and bail back out of here. We want to go ahead and exit the auto scan, and we want to go back to our main screen. Okay, so we're back to our main screen again. So let's go ahead and scan the vehicle again. This time we'll use the auto scan. So you just tap that auto scan. Once again, it's going to read the car. It's going to want to know it's a Ford. Yes, it is. It's going to establish communications, and it's going to talk to it all over again. Like I said, if you don't have one of these and you like to work on cars, these things are the cat's meow. You can pretty much figure out what things are. Like those items that were on that list, to take it to a dealership and have all your spark plugs, they'd want to change everything. So by the time you got done with them, you'd have a $500 or $600 bill, and this is $399. So there you go, or $499. I'm sorry, $399, $499. It'll be in the description. So let's go ahead and auto scan it again. Now it's going to run through the powertrain control module. It's coming up with a code again. So let's go ahead and we can pause it because we don't need it to go through all that other stuff again. We don't care about that. Let's go back and look at our diagnosis on the ECU. Let's read it again. Yes. It's that powertrain control module thing again. So let's read the code. Yes. Whatever it is, the readiness test is not good to go. Mainly because we have not driven the car since he got it. He's been driving his new one. So you can do a key-on engine running test just by doing that. Car must be prepared for self-test, but you can make sure initial conditions are met. Car is not moving. Transmission in park. During self-test, engine cooling fan may operate. Make sure parking brake is on. During self-test, clutch pad provided with manual transmission. So we want to go ahead and let's see. Do we start it now? Let's see. Yes. Start engine. Caution, release the throttle pedal. So we started the engine and we tell it yes. So it's talking to it. Now notice what it's going to do here. It's kind of cool. Like I said, you can do a lot of things. When they talk back and forth, you can get this to talk to the car and find out all kinds of cool stuff, or make it do stuff. Like I could bring the idle up, bring the idle down, things of that nature. So what it's doing right now is it's going through and it's testing a bunch of different things, and you can feel when it's testing something or hear when it's testing something. It's kind of neat. Okay, something else is making it misfire. So I wonder if it's checking the individual coil packs. Now it's back to running normal again. Now it's running rough again. Idle's coming down to 1,000. Okay, so it's stating that the storage trouble code. So let's report. Let's get the report and see what it is. Powertrain P1000. It says readiness test not complete. So let's exit out. So it's giving us the same code, that code 1000. Now here's a cool thing with these readers. And one of the things you want to pay attention to is you see that little search. Tap the little search and look what it's doing. It's connecting to the internet, because I've already got it hooked into the system. It tells me error code P1000 indicate there's an issue with your car's ECC. The error code is manufacturer specific, meaning each manufacturer has its own definition for a P1000, as commonly used by Jaguar, Mazda, and Ford. This error code essentially means that your car's ECU has not completed its emission system test. So because we have redone everything in the car, he hasn't driven it since he redid the spark plugs and all that fun stuff. So it needs to be driven is basically what it's saying. It can't do anything because it, let's go ahead and close up that. But you can actually go through and there's like videos on YouTube where you can, how to reset the P1000 code, all that kind of stuff. So for you guys that are do-it-yourselfers that have never used one of these before, this will walk you through what you need to do to fix it. So it's kind of really cool, and there's multiple ones. And using one of these, I do suggest you watch multiple videos on each code, because some of the codes can be deceiving. For example, a 1000 code is a generalized code on the ECU. It's because everything was fixed on it, the codes were cleared, but the car has not been driven yet. So that's my guess on it, but you can search it yourself and find out it might be something completely different. And if you know what it is and you're a Ford dude, definitely post a comment in the notes. But understand we just tuned it up, just changed the coil pack, and have not driven the car since. He got a new car, so this one's being sold, but we do want to make sure that code's taken care of so that the new owner doesn't have a problem getting it smogged. And after, oh yeah, he did, as a matter of fact, before we finished up, he did take it and go get it smogged. So the other test that you can do on it is a key on, engine off, on-demand self-test. So we'll go ahead and run that one next. So it's giving you what to do. During the test, don't touch anything. Don't move the vehicle. Make sure the transmission is in park or neutral. Self-test engine cooling fan may operate. So you'll hear the fan kick on. Parking brake is on. During the self-test, pressing the clutch pedal may be required if it's got a manual. It'll tell you if it needs to do it. And then you just hit yes. And it's going to talk to the car while it's just sitting here with the key on. And if you're really quiet, you can hear it doing stuff. Like I heard it cycle the heat unit. So there's that cylinder 6 misfire detect again. Misfire detect onboard the 1000. So let's go over to the P306. What you'll find out with these readers is the number at the end generally denotes what cylinder it is. So you see P0306, cylinder 6 misfire. 300s are always a misfire of some kind. So you can actually go to that one and get the report on it. And again, we see misfire detected on startup, onboard diagnostics, OBD system readiness again, and then that that number 6 misfire detection. So we can exit out of this, and we can run a report on it if we want. We're not going to. We've seen what that looks like. So that kind of gives you a rundown on how this thing reads codes. There's a bunch of other features that it has. Give me just a minute. So I'm going to go completely back out again. Yes, I want to exit, and I'm going to, let's go to the service. I've never had that one. You've got powertrain, chassis, body. Let's take a look at you can zero oil. So like if you do your oil change, a little light comes on, you can clear it. Any transmission stuff, all that kind of thing. Reset your PCM. I do not recommend messing with this stuff until you're ready to mess with it, because you can do some damage in here. Because remember, we're talking back and forth to the computer. We don't want to mess up that system. You can look at chassis, all the chassis or the body. So there's a bunch of stuff you can service. You've got trouble code descriptions. You've got your vehicle information, and of course your system selection. System selection lets you check different things. So let's say we want to check the anti-lock brake system. So we just tap that, and it'll want us to read it again. We could do an actuation test, which you can actually go in and you can test different items. Like say we want to test the accelerator sensor, the G sensor. You just tap it, and it'll initializing start of acceleration sensor. Tell it okay on and off. So you can actually test this stuff. Generally, you're going to have the car running while you're testing all this fun stuff. Let's get out of there. But there's a bunch of different tests that you can run to try to figure out what, if there's an initial issue, like if it's a relay or a valve or something of that nature, meaning the inlet valves, outlet valves, the EGR system. You can check all this stuff through this module just by actuating it. And of course, you got your special functions. Service bleed the anti-lock brakes. Do that. Tell yeah. Prepare the car for the test. Turn the ignition on to press the brake pedal and hold. So you push your brake pedal and hold it. Let me get the wire out of the way. Because we did just do the brakes, we didn't do this. So let's go ahead and do that. Incorrect condition or error of request. Let's tell it okay. Let's go ahead and turn it on. So we want to bleed the anti-lock. Turn the ignition on to press the brake pedal and hold. Yes. Incorrect condition, so it doesn't want to do it. So we're not going to mess with it. But that just kind of shows you the different things that it does. And then, of course, you've got live data. Live data is kind of cool, because if you're running the car, turn the air on. It's getting a little warm in here. Brake on or off. It's off. If you push the brake pedal, here, hold on a minute. Get my foot down there. So let's test the brake pedal on or off. And we want to check that. Any continuous codes. Check the boxes of what you want to. And then it'll say, please confirm whether ignition switch is turned on. So we want to make sure the key's on once again. And then tell it okay. But you can actually put this, hang it up, and then drive the car around, and it'll actually track all of this different stuff so that you can see how it's working and if it's working properly. So there, like I said, there are a host of really cool things these things do. The biggest one is the ability to save money by doing it yourself as opposed to taking it somewhere to have it done. You also have some special functions down here, and it's going to give you a whole list of different things you can do. One of them, I believe, throttle. You can play with your throttle, air fuel mixture. You can read your battery, your headlights, all that kind of fun stuff. So you can go through and you can test all kinds of things. So let me go back up. There are... Be the first to know, get the latest product release. You can tell it to subscribe. Yes, of course. No thanks, we're not going to do that. But tech support, all that kind of fun stuff is here. Social media, that kind of thing. And then any updates, again, like I said before, manual diagnosis, you're basically doing the same type of thing. You're going to America, of course. You want to read your OBD2, or you want to do Ford USA. It kind of manually takes you through each individual thing if you want to go through it. So if you want to manually select what you want to test, you can. And then it's going to ask you what type of vehicle it is. So you're putting your vehicle in manually if it doesn't detect it. I haven't had a car yet where it didn't detect the entire car, know its VIN, know what it was, and everything. So it'd be kind of interesting to have one that did it. But like I said, it can do some things that that most of them can't do. So like I say, this is a really, really neat tool. I'll go ahead and let you out for now. We're going to come back here in a little while, and we're going to actually plug it into the 2023 EV and see what it does with an EV. So I'll be back in a little while.
Okay, now we're in the electric car. So we've got her plugged into the OBD. Let's go ahead and turn on the car and see what an electric car does with our unit. Let's turn on our unit. Now this is the 2023 Chevy Bolt EUV, which is basically the electric hybrid. So we're going to go ahead and power it up. Same as the regular car. Put your foot on the brake and... Okay, so we're on the same screen. Let's hit our auto scan. Talking to the car. It knows exactly what it is. It knows its VIN number. Turn on the ignition switch. Engine must be turned off. One key start. Models do not step on the brakes. Press and hold 5 to 10 seconds. One key start. Turn the ignition switch. So we need to turn off the power. Turn it on. It's going into what's called service mode. And we let it communicate. We're going to have it go ahead and do an automatic scan. So it's reading electronic code, electronic brakes. There is a lot of stuff in here for it to look at. Restraint system, and that's it. Everything's done. So it went through 23 different systems. Pedestrian alert sound control module. That's that little noise the car makes, EV cars make when they drive. So we can go with a report because we've got no DTCs. It gives us the car information and that everything has passed. So again, you can go into the system selection and you can look at different things in the car. And this one being a newer car is going to have a lot more stuff, especially with it being electric. That's it with this car. Oh, I'm sorry. You go down to the very bottom, and there's a screen here at the bottom. If you hit the home button, lift it, hit the home button, you've got all your different apps. So you got your Adobe Reader. You can browse the web. You can look at different things, play music. I mean, it's basically a tablet. Very far, for $400 you get all the functions you would for a tablet. So you could actually use this in your house. You could play videos. If there's no video files in here, but you could put your video files on here. Like I said, you got an endoscope hookup. You've got a sound recorder. So, like, say if you wanted to be talking while you're doing things, you can do that too. You've got, of course, your clock, your email, everything that you really want to have on a tablet is also in this thing. So there's more than just the function of the vehicle. So the final question really is, do you need one of these things? If you're going to work on cars and you own anything new with an OBD port, and you're going to buy used cars, yes, you need one of these. What's cool about this is you can walk into a dealership or go to anywhere that sells a car, plug this into the car, and be able to read the history of the car if they've left the codes in it. Now, a lot of times they'll clear the codes, but you could actually drive the car around the block, and after you drive it around,
plug it in and see if it comes up with anything. And that'll definitely save you, it would save you from buying a bad car, that's for sure. It's got a lot of features on it that my other one doesn't. It has added 3 years of updates, so that's a really big one, because updates on these things come out like every 3 days, 4 days. It's a constant thing, because who was ever taking care of the software on these, it changes almost daily. I think every time I fired mine up, I probably have 40 of them, because it'll be, a month before I use it, and there'll be a bunch of updates on everything, and they're all good updates on any systems that need to be updated. So these things do come in handy far more than you think they do. Like I said, just the 300, changing out the fuel injection, it came up, it went into limp mode, and those of you who have driven one of these cars that go into limp mode, it's like it won't go at all. It just kind of limps along, and what it's basically doing is allowing you to limp it to the dealership so that you can fix it. And a lot of times the fix is relatively simple. Prime example is the 300. I was able to clear the code to drive the car into the garage, without limp mode, to get it to where I could service it. That alone, not taking that car to the dealership, was well worth the $400 investment I have in my reader. When I had the problems with the tracks, the 300 code. What is the 300 code? Well, it's a misfire. And because it was a misfire all over the place, that told me it was the coil pack, just by going through the troubleshooting process that these things offer you. You can find what the problem is. So if you're going to fix your own car and you've got a modern car, you might as well get one of these, because this will save you hundreds at the dealership. Not to mention that you can just, you saw the ability to just search the code and find out what it is, and then actually pull up a video on YouTube and see what it takes to fix it. I mean, 90% of the codes that I ran into, I would have it search it. It would pull up the YouTube video, and then I would just go to my, because it was linked to me in here, it was my user in here, my YouTube on my TV would pull up whatever the last video I was watching, and I would be able to look up that trouble code. So, the ability to have your own information in these things allows you to move information back and forth. Your email's in here. You can email yourself something, anything of that nature. So, yeah, they're well worth it. This one has a lot of features that mine doesn't have. It has the camera on it, so you could snap a picture of something. Let's say you're working on a car and you need to take a picture of something, so when you go to the parts store, you go, I need one of these. I don't know what the heck it is, but I need this. You could take a picture of it and take your reader with you, or email yourself the picture. So, yeah, do you need one of these? Yes, you do. If you're driving a modern car and you fix your own cars and you don't want to spend a fortune at the dealer, you need one of these. These cars are so hypersensitive now that any little thing can throw you off. So this is a great place to start your search. These are good units to buy. This unit, I really do like this unit. I wish I'd have had this before I had my other one. Do look at the link below, and I will flash. There's a 10% off code for this, so you can save it's $3.99. So you can save $40 right off the bat on this thing, just by using that code. So if you have any questions about this or any of these types of units, definitely shoot me a comment. Let me know. But like I said, this is the Vdiagtool. I'm using some of their product now. They want me to review this product, and like I said, I've got one of these. It's a different brand. I'm not going to tell you the brand or anything. I paid about $400 for it, and it doesn't do half of what this one does. So with that, I give this a big thumbs up. Definitely one you want to have. You want to save a few $1,000s. This is the way to do it. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. We're going back to the Nova again.